Hello guys, my name is Manas Garg and I am doing Masters in Resilient Horticulture from Hochschule Weihenstephan University in Munich, Germany. And today I will tell you about the fruit production side factor in open field cultivation, and there is lot of data which I comprise and showing you the main summary. And this is the data is from the professor given by them in PPT in a subject resilient specialty crop production, and that subject is quite difficult. So from the 100 pages of PPT, I just made this 12 to 13 page Word file, and this is the best one out from them. So I hope this will help you in your exams, because here in Germany you don't have much time to always learn in during the semester. So this is the end period during the exam, so this will help you later on. So without wasting any time, let's start. So our first question will be like, what are the major side factors affecting food production? So just focus on the main things. Don't go in a deep, because you will write something. You should know the main factors, main climate factors, and all the things. So what are the major factors which affect fruit production? Just keep your mind and think, if you want to produce a fruit orchard, then what you should keep in your mind. The first one is the climate. Is the climate is good for my crop? Is the location, means the topography, is good for my crop? And the third one is soil. So these are the three main factors, which is the best and major side factors which you keep in mind during the fruit production. And in the climate you can write like temperature, frost, rainfall, light, and wind. And for the soil factors, you can say soil type, soil structure, pH, organic matter, and water nutrient supply. Okay, so this is the very basic thing. And now the topic will be chilling requirement. So in a chilling requirement, this is the most important topic, and I think the professor will ask about it in exam. So what is chilling requirement? We all know the amount of cold exposure needed during winter for normal bud break and flowering. So it is near about 0 to 7 degrees Celsius. And if I talk about the crop, like apple need 200 to 1200 plus hours of chilling requirement. Cherry also need high, and peach and apricot required a medium chilling requirement compared to plum and pomegranate, which required low one. So why it is important? It is important because without sufficient chilling requirement, the bud break will be delayed. Irregular bud break, delayed flowering, uneven flowering, irregular fruit ripening, delayed leaf fall. So this all you can write by your own also, because you just need to know if the plant needs something, like plant need this hours of chilling requirement, and if it is not getting, then what can be a circumstances? So the circumstances will be delayed bud break and irregular flower problem and fruit ripening problem, leaf can be fall. So these are the problems. And if the question be like, if the plant getting a chilling requirement, and then what can be a benefit? So you can just write opposite of all these options, like the fruit ripening will be get proper, bird will break on a time and regularly and uniformity, and leaf will be strong. So you can write all this. So what can be a impact if the climate will be changed? Means if the climate is not similar as the crop want, then what can be a impact? If warmer winters, winters should be cool, but if there are some days where the warm means the sun will be rise, then what can be a problem? Less chilling accumulation, which cause poor flowering and fruit set, that cause yield reduction. So this is a classic exam question which can be asked. Warmer winters will cause less chilling accumulation, will cause poor flowering and fruit set, and yield will be reduced. So being a resilient horticulture student, being a horticulturist, you should know these factors, that what can be a problem from what factors. So this is what we are studying. So our next topic will be models to calculating chilling. So what are the models? The first one is chilling hour model. This is very famous and very traditional, in which time is counted by telling the total number of hours your tree or plant is exposed to a temperature between 0 to 7 degrees Celsius during winter dormancy. As I said, chilling temperature will is always like a 0 to 7.2 degrees Celsius between them. So how can you test that is your plant getting a enough chilling requirement? Is by just counting the hours it will be in between this temperature. So this is developed in California, and its rule is count the hours between this degrees. And its advantages, like it is simple and cheap, but its disadvantages does not consider warm temperature. Like in winter, we we see that sometimes there is a warm winds running, and there are some days like sun is just on a head, and temperature suddenly rise more than 10 degree. So that will not count in this chilling hour model. And it also ignores sub zero temperatures, like there is sometimes temperatures reducing from the 0 degree to minus, that will also cause a damage to the crop. So that also not counted in this chilling hour model. So the next method is Utah model. This is the model which is also very good and more advanced. Different temperatures contribute differently. If you have a 2.5 to 9.1 degree Celsius, this is in the range, so it will count one chill unit. But if the temperature is less, then it will count 0.5 chilling unit. If the temperature is low, more high than the range, then it will count 0.5 chilling unit. And if the temperature is in more than the range, more than the range, then it will count as a negative, and the chilling hours will be subtracted from the counted one. In the box, I write the summary, in which we can see that it will weight the measurement used to calculate winter cold accumulation for deciduous fruit trees like apple, cherries, and peaches. Unlike simple model, it will not count all the hours. It will only count the hours which are chilling values to different temperature, and even subtract units if the weather gets too warm. If the weather goes too high, it will subtract the hours. So that is the best method, I think, because it is also cheaper one. But the dynamic model, it is quite expensive one, but it is also most modern method and developed in Israel. It is uses for the chill portion. Chill portion means CP. The dynamic model assumes winter chill accumulates in a biological realistic two-step biochemical process. Means it will not only count the chilling hours, it will also see that if the fruit is getting a changes, means due to chilling, is the fruit getting some changes, safely broken their winter dormancy or not. So this will examine the two-step biochemical process, and its advantages is more accurate, better for climate change studies, and consider physiological process. So this is the dynamic model. And after that, if I talk about which chilling model is best, the dynamic model obvious because it has two verifications, and Its reason is most biologically realistic perform better under fluctuating temperature, like the second model Uttaha model. There also it is counting the fluctuating hours, so dynamic is also doing this, so that's why it is best model. And if I talk about topic third, flower induction, examples are Laxia, Logan, and Rambutan. But before the examples, can you tell me what is flower induction? Flower induction is nothing but a process by which a vegetative bud changes into a flower bud. As you can see here also, vegetative growth, then the flower induction will come, then the flower information, then the flower, then the fruit production. So this is the part of the stages during the growth. So it is most important because there is this topic will also come at the eighth topic eighth, and there are some factors on which flower induction depends, like the temperature, water supply, and fertilization. And there are some more like day length and other factors which I will tell later. But for here, there is a best question and answer form which you will understand very nicely. So if the question will come, explain flower induction in tropical fruit crops with examples. So flower induction is the physiological process by which vegetative birds become reproductive birds. You know, the vegetative birds will become reproductive birds. The flowering will start. So in tropical fruit crops such as lychee, logon, and rambon, flowering is regulated by environmental factors. In these three examples, in these three fruits, or their flowering is regulated by the environmental factors like temperature, water availability, and nutrition. So the first two fruits, Lychee and Logan, generally require a period of cool temperature for flower induction, but the rambutan flowering is often promoted by a dry period. So the climate change may disrupt these environmentals and resulting in irregular flowering and reduced yield. So I will tell you in a very easy method that this Lyxia and Logon need a, what they need? They need a cool temperature, but the third one need a warm temperature. So if they will get some fluctuations in the requirement of temperature, then the flowering will be delayed, the flowering will be irregular, that will cause yield loss. So that is what flower induction is telling us. The flower induction means we are doing the vegetative birds to flower birds observation. That means from vegetative bird to flower bird, what are the flowering dependent and what are the factors it will affect, and if the that factor will not be in the reality, then what can be the causes. So this is all about the flower induction. So the topic 4 is frost. This is very important mainly in Europe and the countries which have a high snowfall, like in India the Jammu Kashmir part. So the frost is very important. And if I talk about the types of frost damage, so the types of frost damage, there is a winter frost occur during winter dormancy, and there is a late frost that occur after bud break or flowering. Before that, for those who don't know about the frost, I will tell the snow is precipitation that form in the atmosphere and fall to the ground, while frost is a layer of ice crystals that form directly on a cold surface like grass, cars, and windows. So this is quite a difference between snow and frost. Frost is not a snow. Frost is a layer of ice crystal that form on a cold surface, and there is two type of frost damage which can occur to the crop. Like the winter frost occur during winter dormancy, as in the winter the orchards go in a dormancy stage, and they if the frost will place on their leaves, then the orchard can be damaged. And late frost occurs after bud break or flowering, that will be more dangerous. So these two factors are very important, like which crop are more susceptible. The early flowering cultivars, if the grower grows the crop earlier than the flowering, then it will damage by the frost. If there is a non-hardened plants, if the plant is soft, then the damage can be increased. And if the exotic species we are planting, then we have to take care more. And if I talk about the favorable site, like gentle slopes, if we are making a gentle slopes, then the cold air drains away. Like the cold air is coming, and they stay on the flat surface. But if we have a slope, then the cold air drains away. But what can be a disadvantage for unfavorable site? The cold air that drains away will goes a deeper side, and that deeper side, if we plant any crop, then it can create a hollows, depressions, and there, and that place the cold air accumulates, so that can be a very dangerous for our crop. So this is all about for frost. And now if I talk about the frost protection method, how we can protect our crop from frost. Like the first one is overhead sprinkler irrigation. By doing that, the freeze, like if you spray a water, then you know that the water release some latent heat of fusion, which can break the freeze and protect our leaves from the frozen and from the spoil. So the most important method is principle, like when water freezes, the latent heat released, plant temperature remain around 0 degrees Celsius, and flowers will be protected. The flower will be protected. To freeze, every gram of water must release energy, which is known as the latent heat of fusion. And when temperature drops, the fruit grower spray water over their crops. So this is the summary which I tell you, that when the temperature is dropping, the fruit grower spray water on the crops. As the water freezes on the fruit, it releases this latent heat, creating an insulating layer that protect the plant from the freezing completely. So this is the method which we can use for the protection against the frost. And the second method we can use is a wind machine, but it is not always used, as it is not good for our advection frost. So how it is working, like it will mix warm air above inversion layer with cold air near orchards. So it will mix the warm air, and if you apply the warm air on the frost, it will remove from the leaves. But it is good for the radiation frost. And now what is radiation frost? It is occur on a clean calm nights when the ground loses heat into a space via thermal radiation, causing surface temperature to drop below freezing. So it is a natural process. But the advection frost is happen when the large sub freezing air, like the cold air is passing, then the surface will be frost. So in this method, wind machine you cannot use, because the air is also cold. So where you will get the warm air to suppress that effect of frozen. So this is the method wind machine, and it is also expensive and noisy, so avoid it. And the frost heater, it is also good, but it use fine heaters. Like in the wind machine, it is using the warm air, so that's why it is cannot be used in advection frost. But in the frost heaters, it can used in the advection frost, but it is mostly costly, labor intensive, and air pollution. Because it is, why it is air pollution, because it is creating a heat from inside, and for creating a heat, it will pulling out some pollution. So that is the and it is using a paraffin heaters, and it is rarely used in today's time. And the best method is plastic cover. It will reduce frost damage and used especially in sweet cherry orchards. And the next topic is site selection. As we know, for the site selection, the ideal orchard site would be low frost risk, warm after flowering, because after flowering there should be a high temperature, and low rainfall during flowering, so that the disease or fungus infection on the leaf will not take place, and low rainfall during ripening. So if the question will ask about site selection, that this is the four factor we should write. And the reasons are for the better pollination, less disease, and less fruit cracking. So our next topic is light and fruit quality, and it is the most important because photosynthesis is the most important process in a plant. And if the plant get a good light, CO2, and water, then the sugar production is very good, and the fruit quality will be a very nice. And as we all know, for example, for the apple, if the apple is more red, it means it has good sugar level. And if the it is green color or slightly parrot color, then it is less sugary. And the color is also depend on this, how much light it is go carrying. So light is has a direct related correlation with the fruit quality. And what are the effect of light? If there is more sunlight, then there is a more sugar, better color, better taste, and more vitamin C. For example, redder apples contain more sugar. So flowering can be induced by day length, temperature, and dry season. Day length, for the strawberry, it is short day plant. Like the if the plant getting a short day, and after the just long day, then it flowering can be started and induced. So if I talk about temperature induced flowering, for example, in apple, cherry, and peach, they need winter chilling before flowering. And during the planting, if the winter chilling is coming at a time, then the flowering will be induced. And with the same dry season, for example, mango, rambutan, longon, if the water stress, mild water stress, can trigger flowering. Okay, so flowering can be induced by mild water stress also. So this is the three things which can create or induce flowering. And for the rainy season also, if the some tropical crops get a rain just after a dry period, then the flowering will induced. So this is the some in the topic 3 there are three factors, and here in topic 8 there are four factors, like day length, temperature, dry season, and rainy season. And if I talk about sunburn, what is sunburn? Sunburn is very important topic. It is caused due to high temperature and excess solar radiations, and its symptom will be dark sunken spots and red halo around damaged area. So it can be preserve or prevent sorry it can be prevent by shading, shade nets and hail nets. So there are two types of shading. In the shade nets, as you can see, this is the green shed which is use high density polythene HDPE, And in the hailnet, which is better because it carry thicker heavy duty HDPE monofilament threads, and it is shade net is thin, flat, or tape like HDPE, but in the hailnet it is thicker, heavy duty HDPE monofilament threads. And in the reflective material, there is two method, kaolin and lime milk, which help in the prevention of sunburn. And pre-harvest foliar spray applied to tree canopy. So the plants are sprayed by the spray of canoline or lime milk from the upside on their canopy, for example in the apple and pomegranate crops, which help in the sunburn or which protect to reflect the UV radiations and reduce heat stress and preventing fruit sunburn. Okay, and the third method for the prevention is irrigation cooling. Over canopy irrigation we can give, and under canopy irrigation we can give. Under canopy can be given by the flood irrigation or by drip or by small sprinklers, and over canopy can be sprayed by large sprinklers, which can and also by the rainfall if happen. Okay, and proper water supply is depend mainly on the variety selection which we are selecting. Otherwise we cannot give the irrigation by our own statistics and our mind. We depend on the variety selection. And the next topic is water management. It is also very important, as the irrigation system is one of the best thing which can increase our yield and decrease. So it should be studied and carefully done. Like the first one is drip irrigation, which is always best, and the second is under canopy sprinklers and overhead irrigation. In these three, the first one is very good, second one is better, but the third one is not much good because it can increase the fungal diseases. And what are the effect of irrigation? Like it help in higher yield, better fruit size, and lower rejects. Okay, and the next topic is water stress. Water stress is when our crop is facing less water quantity, and the drought, its effect on the reduced growth, reduced fruit size, and reduced yield. Like in apple and pear, if there is less irrigation given, then the drought stage will come and it will reduce the yield and fruit size. Okay, but we should also not give the flooding and water lodging, because it will create root oxygen deficiency, root death, and reduced productivity. So what we can do, create a good drainage. Like in the images, there is a drainage system, and it is mainly in a crop papaya drainage ditches, which we call. This is a papaya plant, and the drainage system is in each row. So if the rainfall and the flood happen, then our plant will protect from deficiency or death. And the next one is rain and cracking hail. Okay, so in a cherry crop you see that there is a cracks in between. So this is very famous, and we should avoid it. And this is known as the cherry cracking, which is a major physiological issue where the fruit's skin splits due to excess water absorption. If the fruit absorb more water, and if there is more rainfall, then the fruit is start to crack. That is either through the roots or directly through the skin after rainfall, as I said. So heavy rainfall during ripening cause fruit cracking, and it can be resistant by the variety selection like Cordia and Regina, which is a good variety which can decrease the fruit cracking diseases. And high susceptible, which means high risk of disease. Like if we grow the sweetheart and sonata, this two variety, this is the sweetheart, and if we grow this one, then there is more chances of fruit cracking. And what is hail damage? Hail damage is if there is if it is more depend on the area, like in Europe there is more snow in the winter season, so it can it can cause the fruit injury, wood injury, and reduced market quality. So for the protection from the snow, we can create or apply hail nets. Okay, hail means snow balls which is coming like a rainfall. And this is the revision which I taught you. And always remember this flow for your examination and for your general knowledge in the future projects and company work. So if the climate change, okay, if climate will change, like if the warmer winters are generally cool, but if there is warmer winters, then it will be a less chilling, and it will create earlier flowering, and earlier flowering create higher risk of frost risk, and it will yield losses. And if the climate change like higher temperatures, then the sunburn will create and water stress will create, that will create poor fruit quality, and it need resistant strategies in the future. Okay, and resistant strategies are like proper site selection, low frost location, frost irrigation, wind machines, plastic cover, drip irrigation, shade nets, kaolin spray which is given from the upper side of the plant, and from the drainage system, and resistant cultivars. These are the methods which can be helpful for protect our crop from any disease. So this is the summary of the whole lecture which is given by a fruit production specialist in our university in Germany. Okay, and there is three numericals which can be helpful for us in future calculation. So I also explain them, just a minute. So you can see that there can be a one numerical like chilling hours countation. Like in the traditional method, there is a rule of count every hour with the temperature between 0 to 7 degree Celsius. Okay, and each qualifying hour is like one chilling hour. For example, there is temperature 3 degrees Celsius for 1 hour, then it is one chilling hour. And this is 5 degrees Celsius, then the chilling hour is 1 plus. And the temperature, if it goes 7.2 more, then it is 8 degrees Celsius, then the chilling hour is 0. And if it go less than 0 degrees Celsius, then again it is 0. So the in these 5 hours, the temperature between 0 to 7 degree Celsius is only 3. So there is a total 3 ch. Okay, and if I talk about the second model, which is Utah model, which is also very famous and very important, in which each temperature range has a different value. Like if it is goes below 1.4 degrees Celsius, then the chilling unit is 0. If it is 1.5 to 2.4, then it is plus to 0.5. And if it goes to 2.5 to 9.1, then it is plus 1. If it is goes more 9.2 to 12.4, then it is plus 0.5, otherwise it is 0. And if it goes more than 16, then it is minus 0.5, and it goes above 18 degrees Celsius, then it is minus 1. Okay, so for example, there is a temperature like 3 degrees Celsius. So 3 degrees Celsius is more than 2 degree, so it will be create plus 1 Cu. And in the 10 degrees Celsius, it will only plus 0.5. For the 17 degree also, it will reduce minus 0.5, because it is more than 16 degree. As you can see here, 16 degree to 18, it is minus 0.5. So for the 17 it is minus 0.5. For the 5 degrees Celsius it is plus 1, but for the 20 degrees Celsius it is minus 1. So when we all add it and subtract, the total chilling hour is only 1. So for from this 5 hours, but the chilling hour will be only 1. So this method is more sufficient and more correct. So if I talk about dynamic model, it is more computerized and calculative, so we cannot tell right now, like it is from the unit chilling portion. It uses a physiological model and computer calculations. It is considered the most accurate model under fluctuating temperatures. This can is the questions that can be asked from the professor. Thank you. So our eighth topic is flowering induction by photoperiod. Many fruit crops use day length as a signal for flowering.